Okay, so I want to welcome you to our course of English for Import Business. Today's session is session 9. We're going to see business meetings with clients and suppliers. As always, your teacher, myself, Liliana Kipusco. So first, we're going to see our course considerations. So, you must speak English during the entire conference as possible. Second, you can ask questions during the course of the conference. During the course of the conference, I will make a little pause and I will try to answer you. Third, I will appreciate if you share anecdotes, experiences, or maybe problems that you are having right now related to the subject, so maybe we can help you out. And fourth, at the end of the session, we'll have an exam of 10 multiple choice questions with 4 alternatives. This exam is going to be about what we will see and what we will talk today. Okay? So, we were saying today is business meeting with suppliers and clients. So, first of all, business meetings, what is it? Right? So, as always, if we don't know a word, in this case, and the new word that we have is meetings, we will go to check it out on the dictionary. So we have the Cambridge Dictionary and the Oxford Dictionary. Meeting. What is a meeting? A meeting, according to Cambridge, it says that it is a planned occasion when people come together to discuss something. On the other hand, Oxford Dictionary says that it is an assembly of people, a get-together, a reunion of people, for a particular purpose, especially for a formal discussion. So, in one hand, Cambridge says that it is a planned occasion, that you have to plan it beforehand, and on the other hand, Oxford says that it is assembly for a particular purpose, especially in formal discussion. So, what it is a business meeting? In this case, business meeting, it is the gathering that people get together of 2 or more people to discuss goals, ideas, objectives that are concerned about a workplace. Then it can take in various locations. It can take in offices. It can be via face-to-face. You can do it via video conference. You can do it maybe on Skype, or maybe you can do it over the phone. So it is not only that business meetings take face to face. It can be via video conference or over the phone. Depending on the subject, a business meeting can be better handled via face to face than in other ways. For example, maybe if we are going to talk from zero to buy a product, it is better if we meet face to face. If we are going to talk about prices, if maybe we haven't seen the person before, maybe it's better to have a business meeting face to face. If we are going to a fair, una feria, I don't know if you have heard, but in Lima there are a lot of ferias about fashion. We have Perumora, about plastics, about food. We have Expo Alimentaria. So there are a lot of fairs, and usually when you have business meeting with clients or suppliers that take place in these places, they are usually face to face, obviously. But they're over depending on the subject. Maybe if you have already talked to this person face to face and it is just a matter of handling some details about the project, maybe you can have it via a video conference or over the phone, especially if the other person it is in another country. It's not only between a client and a supplier, it can be between a company's employees. It can be between a company's employees and their suppliers, between a company's employees and their clients, between a company's employees and their potential clients or suppliers, and also between a company's employees and their partners, or only between 2 or more companies' employees of the same company. So it doesn't mean that it is going to be only with a supplier or a client. It can be between more people. There are not only these people. Also, in a business meeting, we can resolve conflicts and problems. How? Because we are going to talk to this person. So maybe if we are, in this case, for conflicts and problems refers to conflicts are especially when there are two. I have a thought and the other person has a thought. So that is a conflict when two thoughts are not the same. And on the other hand, problems are when it is not about thoughts, it is about a third person um, or a third option. For example, maybe if we are importing products, maybe we will have a problem of a delay on the time of delivery. But why? Because of the transport company. It is not going to be my responsibility nor my supplier's responsibility. So it's going to be a problem that it is caused by a third person. Okay? So also business meetings in some companies, also business meetings um, in some companies or for some people they do not always, it is once a week. Maybe if you are traveling for especially a business meeting, you can have many business meetings on a day, or maybe in other places you can have maybe once a week. So it is not there's not a specific number of business meetings that you can have a day or a week or a month. So then, what helpful tips can I give you for a business meeting? In this case, there are some things that you can do and some things that you cannot do or you shouldn't do. So in this case, you should prepare an agenda. In this case, by preparing an agenda, it means that you have to have them written. What are the goals or what are you going to discuss about in that meeting? Why? So you don't forget, so you have a piece of paper with your handwriting, or maybe you type it on your Word on your laptop. So you can track what you are doing, so you don't go and talk about stuff that you're not supposed to talk and you can waste time. Another is to invite key attendees beforehand. Why? Because sometimes we will have business meetings with very important people on the other's company, maybe a CEO or maybe an executive, a very important executive. So if we know that we need specifically one person for our business meeting, especially maybe a CEO or a person that is really busy on that company, we have to invite them beforehand. So we have to let them know, I need you or I want you on my business meeting. So please, I'm letting you know 1 week or 2 weeks earlier, so you know. In this case, if we are going to have international people coming to Peru, or maybe we're going to travel abroad, we have to do it beforehand, more beforehand, maybe a month earlier or 2 months earlier. Why? Because maybe if they are so busy, they will not be able to have us on their offices, and we will be traveling for nothing, right? So we have to invite key attendees beforehand. Another helpful tip, it is to start and finish the meeting on time. Why? Because time is money and we really appreciate our time, so we have to respect and appreciate other people's time. That's why if we say we're going to start at 8, we have to start at 8. If we say the meeting is going to take an hour, we have to do as possible to just take an hour. So because if the person is coming from, I don't know, maybe from China to Peru, we are not going to be the only ones that he is going to have a business meeting. He is obviously going to have business meetings with other people, so we have to finish on the time that we said. And of course, if we are traveling abroad to have a business meeting, we are not going to have just one, we're going to have many. So we have to appreciate and we have to really try to start and finish on time. Robert, how are you? Can you hear me better now? So Let's continue. Also, a helpful tip it is to take notes. Okay, perfect. To take notes or record. Why? It is not polite to be on our phone. I mean, you can have your phone on a business meeting, of course, because maybe you will handle or maybe you will have a very important text message that maybe you have to answer back, but you don't have to be all over your phone all the time. So you can have a look and then just put it back. So in this case, try not to take your notes on your cell phone because it will be rude to the other people because they will think that you're not listening. So it is better if you go with a maybe with a notepad and just a regular pen, so you can have notes so they know that you are listening and you're paying attention. On the other hand, you can record. Yes, you can record the meeting, but it is always you always have to ask for permission first because there are some people that don't appreciate being recorded. So if you're going to record, ask first, always, always, to all the people that are there, not only the person you maybe it's gonna be me and another CEO, and we're going to talk to the my supplier CEO and their executive. So we just don't ask the CEO of my supplier, we will have to ask him and also the executive, and also as a matter of respect, I will have to ask my CEO that is from my company. So we have to ask for permission to all the people that is going to be present on our business meeting if they are okay, if they're comfortable with being recorded. Now, we have to follow up. Why? Maybe in some business meetings we will make some decisions, maybe very important decisions. Maybe we can close sales, maybe we can make sales. So in this case, if I know that on my business meeting I sold, I don't know, maybe 2000 Hello Kitties, let's say. So maybe if I sold 2000 Hello Kitties and we have our business meeting today and we finish, and what I have to do tomorrow, I have to send my client in this case an email saying, hey, as per what we discussed yesterday on our business meeting, I'm going to sell you 2000 kitties at, I don't know, maybe $1, and we're going to deliver it on that time and maybe via plane or maybe via UPS or DHL. So we always have to follow up so our decisions, the decisions that are made on the meeting, they don't get lost. Another helpful tip it is to listen and participate actively. Why listen? We like to be listened. So the other person, they also like to be listened. So how do we show that we are listening? By not looking at our phone. That's one way. Also by when they are speaking, like saying yes with our head, it is another way of saying that we are listening. And how we participate actively by answering. Maybe if they ask a question, we will answer that is actively participating, and also by asking questions. That's also a way. Now, what we shouldn't do on business meetings. In this case, like I told you previously, we don't have to focus on our phone or maybe our laptop. I have seen some people that take their laptop to a business meeting and it is very uncomfortable, because you are talking to them and they have like all the screen open and they are like typing and you feel like you are not being listened and it is really rude. So we have to try to don't take a laptop to a business meeting. A phone, you can take it, but like I said, you can just check your messages, reply really fast, and then just put it down. So your your phone, it is not like vibrating or maybe like the screen, the light going on. Another one is to don't arrive late. We always have to be on time. Like I said, for many people on business, time is money. So we don't have to we have to try our best to be on time. Even just not on time, but maybe we can arrive 15 minutes earlier. So usually when you arrive earlier to a business meeting, they will let you enter into the company and they will make you wait on a waiting room or maybe on the conference room. So it is good to be before time, maybe 15 minutes earlier. It is okay, it is perfect. Another one is don't overextend the meeting. How do we do this? Don't overextend the meeting. So um, this usually happens when the people when the people that you're talking to becomes your friend, or maybe if you meet them for the first time but you have just an incredible connection with them, and you start talking, you start by making some small talk and you get really friendly. So overextending a meeting can happen with this. So you start talking about other things that are not related. It is always good at small talk, a little small talk, but maybe if you get a really good connection with a person, you're going to extend the meeting because you're going to take 15 or maybe 20 minutes talking about something else, maybe something that you have in common, and you will overextend the meeting. And as we discussed today, time is money, and especially if we are going a road to meet some client or supplier, maybe we will have another meeting. So we have to do our best to don't waste time. On the other hand, if some suppliers or clients are coming to talk with us, it is the same. We don't have to waste their time. Okay. So now, extending a little more, we already see business meeting with, in general, now we're going to see business meeting with clients. Okay. So in this case, what are clients? Again, according to the dictionary, Cambridge Dictionary says that a client, it is a customer or someone who receives a service. They just say a service. On the other hand, Oxford Dictionary says that it is a person or an organization using the services of a professional person or company. In this case, they talk about services. On the other hand, on other web pages that I was able to find, a customer is someone who buys a product. On the other hand, a client, it involves the customer meaning, and a client is a little more wider. It can involve services and products also. So it is very, in this case, we're using the term client, okay, because of that, because it is a little more wider, the definition, and it just don't only consider customers, products, but it also considers services, or maybe professional services as a person of company. In this case, we can talk about the imports business. Maybe if we are buying a product and selling a product, but maybe we are buying a product to sell a service. How? For example, let's say that I have a party a party decoration service. So I'm going to buy all the decorations maybe from China, but I'm not going to sell those decorations. I'm going to sell my service of decorating. I'm going to bring the products, but I'm not going to sell them. I'm going just to lend them, to give them for a while the party takes place, and then I will take them. So that's why I'm using the word client, because it is a little more wider. So talking about business meeting with clients in this case, what are things that we are supposed to do with business clients? In client meetings, we have to do our research. About what? If we're going to meet a client, we have to look. If we are going to meet with a client or maybe a potential client, we have to look what products do they use. Will they use my product? I have to know that. Also, who were their previous suppliers. Maybe their previous suppliers were my direct competition, maybe are people that are just bigger than me, or maybe they are smaller than me, so it is going to be an advantage or disadvantage. Also, prices, we have to know beforehand how much did this person pay for the product or service that I'm giving. So maybe I know that I can give him a more cheaper price, or maybe my price it is a little expensive, but maybe I can say to him, maybe I can talk to my client and tell him, hey, look, my price it is a little more expensive, but I'm going to give you this extra and this other extra. On the other hand, quantity. Why is quantity really important? Because maybe my client will need, I don't know, maybe let's um let's pick another product from my. Okay, so maybe let's say this, a scissor. So maybe I produce scissors and my client, or maybe I buy scissors from China to resell them, and my client buys them. So maybe my client buys or always needs 100 scissors a month, but maybe I am not able to sell 100. Maybe I have just 80. So that is really important because I can know maybe I will be able to supply to this client, or maybe I will not. So I won't go to a meeting. I won't establish a meeting. On the other hand, maybe I am not able to do it right now, but maybe I can make an effort, so I on a client meeting I can let him know maybe I can give you for the next 3 months 80 scissors, but on the fourth month I can make it to 100, so they can take their decision knowing. Okay. Another one, it is to prepare yourself. How? Maybe if you have some brochures, I don't know if you have seen this. These brochures, they're like this, like they double to the side, and maybe just regular brochures, like they're like some folders. You can bring brochures, you can bring your personal business cards, so you can have more direct contact. They don't only have your um, general uh, company information, but they can have your personal number for the business, or maybe they can have your personal company's email, corporate email. So it is very always good to give your personal business card, because they will remember you by your name and which job title you have. And also samples. This is really important, especially if we are talking about selling some products that need some test. For example, if we are talking about pipe clamps or tubes, um, they need to go through a test to know how much pressure they will handle. So if this is those kinds of products, or maybe we are just selling, I don't know, maybe just selling some pens. It is always good to bring some samples, because they can know that it is going to last. It is not going to just stop working or something like that. So it is really good to bring samples. Another one, it is the dress code. The dress code. What about it? It is always there's a phrase that says that you have to dress to impress. Have you heard about it? Dress to impress. So in this case, you always have to dress to create a good or a professional impression. Why? Because the first impression is really important. So maybe if you go sloppy is that you go with really big, saggy clothes, like the rappers. So you will not create a good impression like that. So you have to go uh, with nice clothes, not nice in kind of brands, but nice in kind of that you look professional. In this case, you can see here some examples. Maybe for a lady, you can go with a dress, a professional dress. Always try to keep it on your. There is not too short, and you don't have so you don't have too much cleavage shown. You can go with some pants, a blouse. On males, you can go with a suit or maybe just a pant. It is not. It is common to see people that go with jeans, but on the bottom jeans and on the top maybe a blouse or a nice shirt with a suit with a top part of the suit, so it looks a little more better, a little more professional, a little bit casual, but not that casual. Another point it is punctuality. What about punctuality? Like I said before, it is better if you um, get to your meeting 15 minutes earlier. If you're on time, it is good, but you know that always once you arrive, you have to call the person so they can come down to the business conference room and that stuff, and it could take a couple of minutes. So in order to don't use the time that you already had scheduled for your meeting, it is better to arrive 15 minutes earlier. If you know that you're going to be late because maybe you had an emergency or maybe there is too much traffic that you didn't expect to have, maybe you have to call as soon as possible a SAP and let them know, maybe, look, I'm going to be, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes late. Can you wait for me, please? And they will say, yes, of course. So in that case, you can arrive and maybe they can tell you, yes, since you arrived 10 minutes late, we can extend the meeting 10 minutes. Or maybe I don't have the time, we will have to go really fast because we have to finish on time. Another one is location. Where can a client meeting or a meeting in general can take place? It can take place on offices, maybe on your client's or supplier's office, or maybe on your own office. Also, it can take in coffee shops. It is usually if you go to, I don't know, maybe if you ever gone to Starbucks? You have seen some really small business meetings. I have seen them. It is a nice place where you have internet, where you have like really nice place to sit, that is comfortable, it is usually not so loud. Another one, it is fairs, ferias. In this case, when you go to fairs, you are going to meet a lot of suppliers or potential clients, and you can have your business meeting right there. So you can close sales. Another one, it is on restaurants. But we have to be very careful about restaurants because restaurants tend to be loud, really, really loud because they're closed places with a lot of people. In this case, if we're going to have a business meeting, a client meeting on a restaurant, it is better to have it and to ask for private rooms. I don't know if you have seen, but I live here on Los Olivos, and we have a Mr. Shao on Plaza Norte. And on the second floor, it is not a second floor, it is a mezzanine. On the mezzanine, they have like private rooms that they have like curtains, so you can have a business meeting there on a private room. On other restaurants that are a little more expensive, they also have these private rooms that you can just go and ask for them, or maybe you can call beforehand and they will tell you, yeah, yes, we can give you a private room, but you have to call make a reservation. So if you're going to have a business meeting in a restaurant, you always have to make sure to call first to know if the restaurant has a private room and if you are able to use it by making a reservation. Another one, it is to prepare an agenda. Like I said, prepare an agenda in order to know what topics you're going to talk about, what will be discussed, and what goals you will have. Another one, it is to break the ice, especially when you just go to your conference room and you say hello, or in this case, you're not going to say hello. You're going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all the people that are there. You can have a little break, guys. Maybe you can do some small talk. Maybe you can talk about the weather, or maybe you can talk about how nice was your flight, or maybe how not nice was it. Maybe you can talk about that you really like the city that you're in. Maybe you can do a little joke. Try not to discuss about religion and sports, because those are the topics that are really that involve passion. When people involve passion in a business meeting, it is not going to end very well. So try to do a small talk, maybe a joke, a really you're not going to make a joke that you're going to just pop in your head. So you will have to do a little more of research before, so you can know that your joke is not going to be rude to other people. Another one, it is to lead. In this case, if you're meeting with a client, you have to try to be the leader. So you have to try to lead. Be friendly, always be friendly, but lead means that you have to direct the meeting. If you see that you are going off of your agenda, you are not going to the goals, or maybe you are not talking about the topics that you are supposed to say, I'm sorry, excuse me, maybe we can go back to the matter, or maybe we can go back to the topic that we were discussing. So you can try to direct the meeting. Another one is to sell. It is important. We are in a client meeting. We have to sell. So always provide with a business overview. What is your product? What can they expect about your product? About prices also. How do you see your company in a couple of years? How well do you see them? Do you see them expanding, or do you see that you're going to just keep on the growth that you have right now, so they can know how interested you are in winning them as a client and keeping them as a client. Another one is to solve. In this case, to solve, it is to do a little research beforehand and know what are the problems that are having right now, so you can think about solutions. If you can research and find problems before the meeting, so you can give really good solutions that think, it is better. If not, maybe you can talk about what are the problems that you're having right now with your current supplier, so maybe you can try to find a solution. If you solve a problem to a client, they will for sure will be buying to you, because you're solving their problem. You are doing more than the other supplier didn't do. Another one is to adapt. You will plan a meeting. Maybe you can have an agenda, but it is not always going to go according to the plan. There will be always some kind of delays, or maybe we will go off topic. So in this case, you have to adapt. Don't stress if something changes. Just try to adapt to the situation. Also, to take notes. Like I said before, it is very important to take notes about the decisions that you are making, and also that maybe little details that maybe you didn't know, or maybe little details that you want to do a research later to give a better price, or to know a little more about them, or to know a little more about something that was discussed and you didn't quite know about. So take notes. It is okay to take notes. Next date. What about next date? It means if you're having a business meeting today, try as possible to set the next date, to set the next business meeting date on this meeting. So if I'm meeting with Andrea, today it is the 23rd of August. So maybe at the end of the meeting, I can say, "Hey, Andrea, now that we have discussed, and now that you know that we are finishing, you're going to buy 2,000 kitties from me. Maybe we can get together. I don't know, maybe on the 7th, or Friday, 7th September 2018. So we can discuss a little more about prices, maybe if you're going to buy from me more kitties or whatever." So you have to try to set up a next business meeting date. Maybe it will not be a face-to-face date, but maybe it can be like follow-up email, or maybe a video conference if a person is not in the same country as you. It's not going to be in the same country. And finally, do a follow-up. What about this? It means after the next day that you had a business meeting, it is important to send an email, maybe make a phone call, or maybe do a video conference to give or receive extra pending information, or maybe just to thank. It is always happens to me especially when I meet Chinese providers, or that they send you an email the next day, uh, thanking you for your hospitality and hoping to talk to you soon so you can keep on doing businesses. So it is really important. Then, what are some tips that I can give you? I don't know if you can see this very well. I'm going to. Okay. So, what are some tips that I can give you about client meetings? It is always good to confirm ahead of time. If I know that in 2 days I'm going to have a business meeting, always call or send a message or send an email saying, hey, we're going to meet in a couple of days. Is it okay? Is it good for you with your schedule? So they can let you know, yes, it is okay, or maybe no, I'm not going to be able to make it. Maybe we can reschedule. Especially if we are going to have meetings with key people, maybe very important and busy people like CEOs and executives. Also, try always to remember your clients' names. When you remember someone's names, it means that you are interested. So it is your client. You have to make him feel good or her feel good. So remembering their name, it will be a really nice touch, a detail for them. Always be respectful. Obviously, you have to be respectful because this is people that you're working with. Always also stick to the schedule or the agenda that you have. Finish on time and start on time, so you always remember that time is money. Keep your phone on your laptop. We said that we don't have to focus, but if you do have to have your phone or your laptop on your business meeting, always try to have them on their silent mode. So it will only vibrate, or maybe a little vibration, or maybe just the light will go on so it doesn't make any loud noises. Finally, like I said, that I had these experiences with some Chinese suppliers, it is to thank at the end of the meeting, to thank them for their time, and also to do a follow-up with an email, phone call, or a video conference, thanking them again for their hospitality. Now, what about business meeting with suppliers? Is it the same as business meetings with clients? First, what it is a supplier? Okay, what it is a supplier? A supplier, it is, according to Cambridge Dictionary, a person or a company that provide things, products, that people want or need, especially over a long period of time. By the things, it can mean products and also services. It says for a long period of time. On the other hand, Oxford Dictionary says that it is a person or an organization that provides something that is needed, such as product or service. So in this case, it is the same. Both talk about products and services. Both talk about that it could be a person or a company that provides, that gives, that sells something. So, what are the the details that we can know about supplier meetings? You can always use the client meetings details. As we spoke, they are the same. They work also for suppliers, but also it is good to know the following. First, the suppliers' history and background. Our suppliers. Maybe we are talking to Chinese suppliers. We have to look beforehand to make a little research, maybe on Google. Maybe if we have people that are over there asking them, to see if the company really exists, if they are not scammers, if the company is strong, if they have future plans, future business plans, and if we have the same core values. Why? Especially if we're going to bring products from other countries, we have to know if they are maybe loyal, or maybe if they're really punctual. If we appreciate punctuality, we have to know if they are punctual. So we have to look for those core values, those really important values, if both companies have the same, our company and the other company, the supplier company. On the other hand, why strong future business plans? Because we have to know if the company is going to be strong enough to keep on the market on the following years or month that we are going to have them as suppliers. Because if it is a weak company, or it is a company that it is about to maybe to go on bankruptcy, it will not be good to make business with them, because maybe we will pay them and the next month they will just go out of market and we will be on blank, right? Another one is to prepare an agenda. Like I said before, it is always good and really, really important to set goals and topics that we want to discuss. Negotiators. What about them? Always, if we are going to talk about, in this case, a matter of prices or times of bringing the products, we have to ask for the details on the executive that will represent the suppliers, to ask which person, what time, and all this kind of stuff. Also, the suppliers negotiating team. We have to do our research and plan, if possible, a business lunch. If we know that we are going to have, maybe we are going to meet with a CEO and an executive, and the CEO, it is just an administrator, but the executive, it is a person that is really specialized in negotiating and trying to take to charge as much as possible from us. We have to know what about them, how can we make a strategy to overcome this problem, so we know that the other person, our suppliers, it is a really strong negotiator. We have to go with a strategy, with a really strong strategy, to overcome this problem, to overcome this person. And why? What about business lunch? In this case, it is really important to, if we are able to meet these negotiators beforehand, so we can talk to them a little more, to know a little more about them, to know if maybe we can pick up some detail from them as persons, so we can make a better strategy, or maybe we just can make a friendly relationship with them, so when we get together to make negotiations, they don't get so strong. So it is really good. Maybe if we are not able to make a business lunch, maybe we can just get together for a coffee, or maybe, and this is really good one, if we don't have the time to do a business lunch, maybe if the our supplier is from, I don't know, maybe from Hong Kong, and he's going to stay on a hotel in Miraflores, and our business and our office is in San Miguel. Maybe we can say, hey, I know that you're in Miraflores and you're going to come to San Miguel, so maybe we can go to pick you up. And they obviously will say, yes, of course, come here, because they're going to save the money for a taxi, right? So you just don't send your driver, so you go with your driver, so you can be on the back of the car, and while going from Miraflores to San Miguel, you can talk a little more with them, so you can know a little, so you can know them a little more, they can know you a little bit more, so you can become more friendly, and they will reduce their aggressiveness during the during the negotiation. So it is a really good strategy to do that, in case you are not able to have a business lunch. Then, what about questions that we can ask on a supplier meeting? These are really nice questions that I have gathered. So, let me. Okay, so the questions that we can make are following. Maybe we can ask our supplier to describe their companies and how they are growing, what are their strategies, and the plans that they have to remain viable on the market. So we can know if what we have do what we have researched, it is the same of what as they're saying. So we know if they're if they say the truth or not, right? Also, we can ask them what sets you apart from your competitors, so they can say maybe me, look, I have a better price or I have a better lead time, so you can know where the difference between them and their most noticeable competitors. Also, we can ask, do you have the capacity to provide what I need? In this case, we can talk about maybe time. Do you have the capacity to give me 2,000 pens in 3 days, let's say? Or maybe do you have the capacity to give me just 3,000 pens? Maybe they don't have, maybe they're a small company. So it's really important to ask the question to know if you will be able to work with them. Also, you can ask if they didn't bring samples. As we spoke, as a client, if we are meeting with a client, we have to bring samples. In this case, if we're meeting with a supplier, our supplier have to has to bring samples because we are the client. If they didn't, maybe we can ask, can you submit samples so I can test your product before buying it or before closing the sale? Another one is, how do you communicate with your clients on the planning of process? In this case, do they communicate only by phone? Do they communicate via WhatsApp? Do they communicate via only email? So maybe if they communicate via WhatsApp, they will going to be more reachable because they will be almost 24/7. If they're off office hours, they will be able to still writing you back. And this is really important when you're talking from people that have a really big difference of time. If we are talking about people in the United States, it is good if we just can have a phone call or an email. But if we are talking about Chinese people that are in Asia, or people that are in Europe, it's really nice if we can have maybe via a conversation via WhatsApp because it is going to be more fast. It's going to be faster. Also, we can ask who are your clients, so we can know if maybe my competitor is their client. So we know that my competitor has a very good quality of products that they import, so it is really good to ask them. Maybe I know that my competitor has very bad quality products, so I know that if they are supplying to my competitor, it is not a good company. Another one is to ask about the payment terms. What are your payment terms? Do you only accept 100% before making the products, or if it is 50% before making the products and then 50 once you ship it, or maybe if you can give me credit? Also about how do you receive the payment? Maybe you receive a wire transfer, or maybe I can pay via PayPal. So it's really nice to have those information before closing a sale. Another one, it is to ask how they measure client satisfaction, and how they improve client satisfaction. Why? Because we know that we are going to buy them today, we will receive tomorrow the products, and if we are not satisfied with the product, how can we know that if we make them suggestion or maybe the process of the product? It is better to know beforehand if they will take in count this suggest, or maybe they don't, so we can have another detail to make a better decision. And finally, how do you resolve the problems that may appear during the process of the sale, or maybe once you have bought already? So they can let you know, look, once you buy from me, I just wash my hands and I don't know anything because yeah, I already sell to you. That sometimes it happens. I have seen not only happen with international suppliers, but also local suppliers from Peru that they just sell to you, and once you find the products that are breaking or are not of good quality, they say, look, I cannot help you. I already sell you, so that's not my problem. So in that case, it will not be good to buy from them. On the other hand, if they say, look, if you have problems, maybe we can talk and you can send me the product so I can see if it was a problem if the problem was born during the process of elaboration of the product, or maybe the product is breaking because you mishandle it. So it is always good to ask about it. Then we're going to see some videos. In this case, let me. Okay, so we're going to see some videos about elevator pitch. In this case, what it is an elevator pitch? An elevator pitch, it is a really small pitch, a really small conversation that you maybe will have. Why elevator? Because might take you just between 20 and 30 seconds. So you have to be fast. How can you do this? Maybe in the main focus of elevator pitch, if you meet someone on an elevator, so you can sell them a speech, sell them a product. But on the other hand, we can also use elevator pitches to use them to say this speech when we just starting the business meeting. So once you start the business meeting, you say your elevator pitch, so it will catch the other people's attention. So they will pay attention to you and they will be more open to listen to you. So I'm going to share you my screen. Alaye, please let me know if you can hear. Alaye, déjame saber si pueden escuchar.
How to perfect the elevator pitch. If you happen to run into your ideal employer or business partner in an elevator, or anywhere else for that matter, you'll have about 30 seconds or less to wow them. Here's how to do it. You will need skills or ideas, a list of descriptive phrases, a description of your qualifications, and practice. Optional, a mirror. Step 1. Brainstorm a list of phrases that describe you, and cross off any cliches or catchphrases. Keep only the most unique and honest statements. Step 2. Craft a description of qualifications that you can share in 30 seconds or less. Write the pitch like you speak. This will make it easier to deliver and make it sound more authentic. Step 3. Practice your pitch on friends and family. Ask for feedback and adjust your pitch. It will become natural by doing it over and over. Use a mirror to pitch yourself. If you can't look yourself in the eye, how can you engage someone else? Step 4. Make your pitch about the needs of your listener. Talk about the problems facing their industry that you are uniquely positioned to solve. Step 5. Describe your value in solving these problems. Step 6. Allow room for dialogue. Most people don't like to be talked at, so be conversational and show an interest in them. Step 7. Ask for something, a business card, a phone call, or permission to send your resume. The point of your pitch is to break the ice and generate interest, but you need to ask for the next step. Did you know, as of 2009, the Taipei Financial Center in Taiwan featured the world's fastest elevator, running at a top speed of 39 miles per hour.
The elevator pitch is your first step towards becoming a networking god. Hey, Mr. CEO. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you.
Ruben, right?
Yes.
Oh, I've heard a lot of good things about you.
Nice.
So,
nice.
What is it that you do then exactly?
Well, you know, I like merge all my talents together and just give it out to the world, like all my stuff inside me. It's like a mixture of stuff. Like I'm a creative guy, people's person, obviously. I write a bit of comedy, I present, I get up stage, talk to people, and I just know together all my creative ideas and my whole teams. That's not an elevator pitch. That's the ramblings of an unprepared bitch. An elevator pitch is a sentence that sums up what you do so concisely that you can tell it in a space of your average elevator ride. If you were to write it down, it'd be about 140 characters, which is about a tweet. So, let's try that again, shall we? Hey, Mr. CEO, good to see you, sir. Good to see you.
Hi, Ruben, right?
Yes, yeah.
Oh, I've heard a lot of good things about you.
Okay, nice.
So, what is it you do then, actually?
I'm a presenter and a comic. I host live events and I make online comedy videos. And I'm also co-founder of individualism.co.uk, which is the UK's leading men's style blog.
Oh, excellent. We've got a few events coming up and we could do with your services. Have you got a card, haven't you?
I do. Yes, I do. There you go.
I'll be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day, mate. See? Preparation, it got me some potential work with the CEO of this whole company. Yeah.
Did you say a men's styling blog?
Remember guys, your elevator pitch should be short and to the point, even if you do live on the 100th floor. You need to know exactly what you do, as you do not want to give people the wrong idea.
Finally, I want to thank you for your attention. Like I said, today we saw session 9, that is business meetings with clients and suppliers. And as always, your teacher from Thursday, that is myself, Liliana Kipusco. So I want to thank you. I hope that you enjoyed the class of today. I hope you understand. Later, review, take a look again to the video, take a look on the material, take a look on the videos that we saw previously, this about the elevator pitch. So then you can have your exam. It is really easy, actually. It is about what we saw today, so you will not have any kind of problem. Okay, so that's all for today. I hope to see you next week. So bye bye, take care, bye guys, thanks for being here.